at a time, every 3 years. That can't happen because the county gets their money, right? And then we're out here and we need money, and because people's property taxes went up 400, 600, whatever they went up, they said, it's enough, I can't afford it. And so it leaves us in our schools hanging out here with nothing.
It really does. You know, as I drove here today on NPR, there was a discussion with representatives from the Parma School District, and how I mean, they will be functioning apparently this coming year on state minimum standards, and they talked. It was all really a very depressing conversation, very sad conversation about that. They have cut to the bone. They're going to have 32 kids now in every class, and you know, on and on and on. And they talked about how, you know, they're property owners also, they're homeowners, and how that same idea, as the callers called in too, they can't, there was a shift at some point of putting the whole burden on homeowners, and how this continues.
Right.
And it's just ongoing, raising the taxes on people who own their own homes. And one woman called in and she said, just very nicely, she said, you know, I want to support the schools here, but she said, I lost my job last year, and I've now only been able to find a part-time job that brings in a couple of $100 a week, and now my husband got laid off last week. And she said, we simply cannot afford to vote for something that's going to increase our mortgage anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to have a hard time making our house payment as it is, so I'm going to have to vote no.
Right, and that's the sad part about it. But in our county, when they raised it, you know, 24%, it just takes everything away from where we need it. And we have said a million times on this show that we can only provide the services that people are willing to pay for.
Right, yeah.
The last levy that was passed was, I think it was 22 years ago, all right, and that money levels off, and the cost of kept going up.
Of course.
Over the 22 years, and you can't get it. That, along with losing 2,500 jobs, losing $2.5 million of tax collections coming to the community, it put it where it is.
So you say you're going to get involved in this in some way?
I am. I'm going to, whether it's a state referendum, it's going to be a county referendum, we have to do something that it has to limit it, because the county, our county government here is so different than in other areas. The cities are the stronger side, and the county is the weaker side. In other areas, it's the other way around, where the county is the strongest, and they have county regional things, and they work together, and schools and things like that. I'm not saying we need to move in that direction very quickly, but we do need to move in that direction. But the county just can't take the money and supply for the eastern part of Lake County, because the county really finances the townships and the villages.
Right.
So we need, and we get very, very little from the county, very little. On the stadium issue, of course, they kicked in the property tax issue. Other than that, there's not a lot that comes in from that county dollar. So when they're raising their cost, they're there hurting us, and it's got to stop. So I don't know where it's going to happen or how, but when I get done today, I'm going to start looking at that. I'm going to take a few weeks away and just get away from it, and then look at it and go from there. I'm going to stay with NOPEC. It's a volunteer board, and because I believe so strongly in fighting for utility rates. First Energy right now has some rate plan that they've put together that is not a savings to the people. It will hurt the people. It's giving them, eliminating competition and making them the only game in town, and now they're not regulated, so then they'll have an unregulated monopoly, and that's dangerous. Yeah. They may hold the price for 3 or 4 years, but look out after that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that's what we've been saying.
Your personal plans, you say you're going to take several weeks off first?
Yeah. Marilyn had some surgery on her nose. She had a deviated septum on both sides, and she's been hurting really bad. She had it done a week ago, and today she gets the splints out, and she can't wait.
Oh, wow.
And we're just gonna spend some time together and have some fun, and then look and see. I'm not going to be into politics. I don't want to be in politics anymore. My wife does not want me in it, that's for sure. And
But you're talking about some issue-oriented involvement?
yeah,
Okay.
doing some volunteer work, looking at things, maybe even doing some consulting a little bit here or there, and but we're going to be fine.
And you'll maintain your home here, as you
Oh,
say,
yeah,
in winter
yeah,
months in Florida, as
yeah.
many people do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to be here for my grandkids.
Yeah.
My mom and dad moved down to Florida when my dad retired, and the one thing he always told me that he missed more than anything was us kids and the grandkids,
Yeah.
and not seeing them maybe once a year, and not experiencing the things that they go through. I want to do that.
Yeah.
My grandkids are very important to me, and I love them. And somebody told me that grandkids are the reward by God for not killing your own children.
I thought you were going to say the reward for getting older. My goodness, for not killing your own.
But because it's so different. I mean, you
Yeah.
handle it so different.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you give them whatever they want. And
I understand that this month, well, let's see, as we tape this, this is the last day of April. So May, you're going to be inducted into your High School Hall of Fame.
yeah, the Collinwood High School Hall of Fame, quite an honor for me to be in there with some very, very, very important people. That'll be May 5th, and I'm looking forward to that. That's exciting for me, and we can go from there. But those are the nice things that come along with the job. But it's a sad day today, no matter how you look at it. Even though I'm looking forward to doing it, it's sad because I'm going to miss the people here.
I'm sure.
I'm not going to miss the aggravation, and there's plenty of that.
What do you wish for George Spinner at this point?
I wish George all the luck in the world, and I've told George, I said that I will do whatever I can to help him, to work with him, to bring him to speed.
So you'll be available for advice or whatever
yeah.
he needs?
I will be available for advice, but I'm not going to be somebody who's going to be here all the time telling him what to do.
Yeah.
When he needs something, then I'll be there for him. Otherwise, he'll run the city and he'll do it the way he sees to do it, and that's fine.
My understanding is that he says that he is going to, and this has to do with the laws of the city here, that he will take over the position until November, which by law he then has to run in order to fulfill the rest of the term
Right.
till '06, is it? Or '05?
'05.
And that he's definitely going to do that, but after that he says he will not run again then
Right.
for mayor.
And
So someone can run against him in November then, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I encourage the people of this community to give George a chance.
Mm-hmm.
George is an outstanding individual. What's really funny and ironic to all of this is I've known George since we've been 10 years old. We were Cub Scouts together, went to high school together. He became the principal at North, worked with him at North. George was my campaign manager from day one of the time that I
Amazing.
ran for office. George and I have been very close.
Yeah.
We're very good friends.
And he's a longtime administrator.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a man who, has experience in the field.
Right. And he will do a good job, and I will support George in November to win that election, because you need somebody like George in there. You don't need a person who's going to come in with all the negatives.
Oh, yeah, George's got a great temperament,
Right.
from what I see
Right.
of him from the council shows that we had done.
And, well, not just that, he's a thinker too. But you don't need somebody to do negatives. You need the positives, and you need somebody there with positive thinking, not somebody that says they can do this or they can do that.
Yeah.
And we have one guy who runs for every office, and he'll probably be there. And if the people would elect that person, I think half the city will move away.